Have you ever heard the saying, be careful of a wolf in sheep's clothing? Well, today we're going to dive into a story that brings this exact idea to life, but with a cat and some birds. It's a classic tale that's more relevant today than ever, especially in our digital world where things aren't always what they seem. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's explore the story of the cat who played doctor. Our story begins with a cat. Now, this wasn't a happy, well-fed, purring on your lap kind of cat. No, this cat was growing very thin. You could see his ribs, and his meow was more of a weak squeak than a mighty roar. And the reason, as you might have guessed, was simple. He wasn't getting enough to eat. He'd spend his days dreaming of plump mice and his nights prowling, but his hunts were always unsuccessful. His pantry was bare, and his stomach was perpetually empty. He was getting desperate, and desperation, as we know, can lead to some pretty creative and sometimes devious ideas. One afternoon, while licking his paws and pondering his rumbling tummy, he overheard some gossip from the garden. The sparrows were chirping, the robins were singing, and the message on the grapevine was clear. Some of the birds in the neighborhood were feeling a bit under the weather. A little bird flu, perhaps. A case of the chirps? Whatever it was, they were sick and in need of some care. A light bulb went off in the cat's head. A brilliant, cunning, and terribly wicked idea started to form. He thought to himself, if they need a doctor, then a doctor is what I shall be. He saw an opportunity not to help, but to... Well, you can probably guess. He wasn't thinking about prescriptions. He was thinking about dinner. This was his chance to get close to his prey without a chase. It was the perfect plan, or so he thought. So our clever cat got to work on his disguise. He rummaged through a pile of things left behind by the humans and found an old pair of spectacles. They were a bit crooked and too big for his face, but he perched them on his nose, hoping they made him look wise and scholarly. He then found a small, worn leather box, the kind a real doctor might carry with pills and potions. With his new props in hand, he practiced his best professional demeanor in a puddle's reflection. He tried to look serious and concerned, puffing out his chest and nodding sagely. He was no longer a starving alley cat. He was Dr. Cat, ready to make his house call. With his disguise complete, he trotted confidently towards the big oak tree where the birds had built their homes. He approached a large nest, the one bustling with the most activity, and knocked gently on a branch with his leather box. Knock, knock, knock. He cleared his throat and prepared his most convincing professional voice. He was ready for his performance. The fate of his empty stomach depended on it. Inside the nest, the chirping suddenly stopped. The little birds, huddled together, heard the strange sound. Who could be knocking at their door? Cautiously, a few of the braver birds peeped over the edge of the nest. They saw a peculiar sight below. A cat, wearing spectacles, holding a leather box, looking up at them with a strange expression. It was certainly not a visitor they were expecting. This was already a very unusual day in the neighborhood. Good day to you, my dear feathered friends. The cat called out in a smooth, gentle voice he didn't know he had. He tried to sound full of solicitude, his voice dripping with false concern. I heard from a little bird, pardon the pun, that some of you are feeling unwell. He adjusted his spectacles, pushing them further up his nose to add to the effect. As a medical professional passing through the area, I felt it was my duty to stop by and offer my services. He held up the leather box. I have just the thing for you in here, he continued, his voice oozing with fake sympathy. Tonics to make your wings strong. Pills to make your songs clearer. Please, tell me your symptoms. How are you all feeling? He put on his best bedside manner, trying to look as harmless and helpful as a fox guarding a henhouse. He was so close he could almost taste his victory. A few more sweet words, and surely they would welcome him in. But birds, while small, are not stupid. They have to be constantly aware of their surroundings to survive. They've seen cats before. They knew the look of a predator, the silent, stalking hunter. And this cat, despite the glasses and the box, still had that look in his eyes. They saw the glint of hunger behind the professional facade. One of the little birds, instead of looking scared, let out a tiny giggle. Then another joined in, and another. Soon, the whole nest was filled with the sound of tweeting laughter. They weren't falling for it. Tweet, tweet. One of them chirped, which in bird language probably meant something like, "Are you kidding me? Very smart, aren't you?" Another one called down, their voice full of amusement rather than fear. The cat's disguise was so ridiculous, so transparent, that it was actually funny. A doctor? A cat wanting to help birds? It was the best joke they had heard all day. We are very well, thank you, a third bird chirped loudly, so the whole neighborhood could hear. In fact, we feel healthier just knowing you're down there and we're up here. Then came the final brilliant remark from a wise old sparrow at the back. And we'll be even better if you just keep away from here altogether. The laughter from the nest grew louder, a chorus of chirps and tweets that mocked the cat's failed attempt at deception. The cat stood there, stunned. His jaw dropped. The spectacles slid down his nose. His brilliant plan had crumbled. He had been outsmarted by his dinner. Humiliated and exposed, his professional demeanor vanished, replaced by the familiar scowl of a hungry, defeated predator. There was nothing more to say. The birds had seen right through him. With his tail between his legs and his stomach still rumbling, Dr. Cat turned and slunk away, the sound of the birds' laughter following him through the trees. He went home not with a full belly, but with a bruised ego and a very important lesson learned. So what's the real takeaway from this little story? It's a fable, and like all fables, it has a moral. The most obvious one is be wise and shun the quack. A quack is someone who dishonestly claims to have special knowledge or skill, especially in medicine. Our Dr. Cat was the ultimate quack. He pretended to be a helper, a healer, but his real intentions were selfish and harmful. This story teaches us the importance of critical thinking. The birds didn't just accept the cat at face value. They looked past the disguise, the spectacles in the leather box, and saw the true nature of the creature before them. They used their past experience and their instincts to recognize danger, even when it came in a clever package. In our own lives, we meet quacks all the time. They might not be cats in glasses, but they are people or ideas that promise wonderful things but have hidden, harmful motives. Think about it. It could be a get-rich-quick scheme that promises wealth but is really designed to take your money. It could be a flashy advertisement for a miracle product that promises to solve all your problems but is completely ineffective. Or, on a more personal level, it could be a person who acts like a friend, offering support and kindness, but whose real goal is to manipulate or take advantage of you. The story reminds us to be discerning. It's important to question things, especially when an offer seems too good to be true. Who is this person? What are their real intentions? What do they gain from this? The birds asked themselves these questions, and it saved their lives. We should do the same. This doesn't mean we should be cynical and distrust everyone. It just means we should be wise. We should use our judgment, listen to our intuition, that little voice inside that tells us when something feels off, and not be fooled by superficial appearances. The world is full of information, and unfortunately, a lot of it is misinformation. There are Dr. Cats everywhere, peddling false cures, fake news, and bad advice. They look professional, they sound convincing, but they are promoting something harmful. The ability to see through the disguise, to recognize the quack, is a crucial skill for navigating the modern world safely and successfully. So the next time you encounter a situation that feels a little too perfect, or a person who seems a little too eager to help you in a way that benefits them more, remember the story of the cat and the birds. Remember to look past the spectacles and the leather box. Trust your instincts, be critical in your thinking, and don't be afraid to say, "Thank you, but we're fine without you." True help and genuine intentions don't need a disguise. Thanks so much for hanging out and exploring this story with me today. It's a simple tale, but its message is timeless and powerful. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive into more stories and life lessons, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventure. Stay wise, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.